is the Doug Stewart Show, and I'm your boy, Doug Stewart. Thank you for joining me. Yes. How you doing? All right, today's show is for the week ending May 25th, 2014. And this is the Doug Stewart Show, the realest sports show on the interweb all over the world. The Doug Stewart Show. Continue to pass the word, tell people about it, where I get into these sports topics, these hot, juicy sports topics, like nobody else can. All right? There's a lot of fakers and biters. Now, there's only one Doug Stewart Show. You better believe that. And you can text the show at 770-847-0536. You can email me as well, Doug@thedougstewartshow.com. And I try to respond to all of the text messages and the emails and all of that type of stuff. Because as we always say, it's the people show. It's definitely the people show. And we talk about and get into some of the things that people want to talk about on this show. We're going to continue to do that. But all I ask is that you help your boy out and tell people about the show. All right, the four biggest stories from the week ending May 25th, 2014. I call them the Funky Four, all right? The four biggest stories, and I'm going to go in descending order. The fourth biggest story is obviously Donald Sterling has authorized his wife, Shelly. Donald Sterling, the now present owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. He's authorized his wife, Shelly, to sell the team, and she will try to sell the team voluntarily, according to a person familiar with the story. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've ever been under a rock, Donald Sterling got caught on tape by his side chick and making some racial comments, and so everybody's up in a tizzy, and he's got to sell a team. And I said from the very beginning, there's no way that he was going to be able to withstand this, that he was going to have to sell the team, even though he's a guy, he has a law degree, and he's had several skirmishes with people and been in courtrooms throughout his life and won a lot of cases and fought a lot of people in the courtrooms. But this is something that he just couldn't win because the story was just too bad and it was just too toxic. So I think he came to his senses and basically says, listen, I'm 80 plus years old. Allegedly he has prostate cancer. He's fighting that. He bought the team for $12 million, as we talked about in the previous episode. He bought the team for $12 million. He's going to sell it for over $1 billion. What's the point? What's the purpose? And it almost seems kind of like the Joe Paterno situation where a lot of people feel like that when you have all these things on your mind that it hurts your body. It's not just spiritual, it's physical. It manifests itself physically. And this is probably the best thing for Donald Sterling. He probably just says, I don't want to fight anymore. And if you made a $13 million investment and you're going to walk away with over $1 billion, what the hell are you fighting for anyway? And then you add on top of that, you're 80 plus years old and you're sick. Who can, why would you want to fight that? And probably really the longer you hold out and fight said, NBA, you probably lose some of the value of the product. So why not go ahead and sell it and just be done with it? I mean, you messed up. You got caught out there. And yeah, you were set up. He was set up. I truly do believe that. But it is what it is. It's out. The horse is out of the stall at this point. Okay? So there's nothing you can do. Go ahead and sell a team. Just fade away into oblivion, like Mike Tyson would say. And let's keep it moving. All right, story number 3 in the Funky Four, the four biggest stories of the week ending May 25th, 2014 is the NFL. Some former players in the NFL are now levying a second lawsuit against the NFL. This time not for head trauma, post-concussion syndrome, but basically on how medicines were administered to them, leading to long-term physical effects with their bodies. Jeremy Newberry, a second-round pick in 1998 who played in 120 games over 11 seasons, talked about how the team administered Tardol. And this is a pain medicine, anti-inflammatory medicine that's widely used. Everybody knows about these medicines being used in the NFL so the guys can get over pain and play games. Now, this case really, to me, has, I think, even a lot more substance than the concussion suit. Not that the concussion suit doesn't have a lot of substance, but to me, here's what I'm thinking. When you play in the NFL and you run into 240-pound men at high speeds, you can expect some type of head trauma. I think that's something that's a given. That's a no-brainer. That's going to happen, okay? And I think a lot of times these guys, even if you told them that you would have long-term effects from these concussions, that they still would continue to play the game. I think this is different in the manner that I do believe that doctors administer these pain injections to these players, but I don't think that they really went into detail at any point on what the long-term effects were. And I think that if they would have explained to said players that if you continue to take these Toradol shots to ease the pain so that you can get in games, it's going to affect you down the road. And a lot of these guys are having problems with their kidneys. Mid-stage kidney failure is a common thing in a lot of older people, but this is happening to some of these younger players. Their organs are actually shutting down because of long-term use of some of these pain medications. So I do believe that, maybe if some of these team doctors would have explained to a lot of these players past what the ramifications of using this medicine over and over and over, I think some of them would have made the decision, not to use them and just struggle through the pain, which I believe is much different than what you're talking about with the concussions. Once again, not that the concussion argument and the lawsuit wasn't valid. What I'm saying is that I believe that this probably has a lot more substance than even that, the original one with the concussions, because I don't believe team doctors did explain all the long-term effects of them. Story number 3 in the Funky Four, in the 4 biggest stories in the world of sports, week ending May 25th, 2014. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, says, "I know I'm prejudiced and I know I'm bigoted in a lot of different ways." Cuban said in an interview shown on the annual Grow convention hosted by Inc. magazine, "If I see a black kid in a hoodie on my side of the street, I'll move to the other side of the street. If I see a white guy with a shaved head and tattoos, I'll move back to the other side of the street. None of us have pure thoughts. We all live in glass houses." Here's where I've got a lot of problems with Mark Cuban's statement. And let me just say this. We interviewed Mark Cuban, I think, twice when we were doing the 2 Live Stews, and I never found him based on basically a personal feeling about the guy and having conversations with him before and after a break. I think we interviewed him at a Super Bowl one year, actual live. I never thought that Mark Cuban was a racist. Now, clearly, he has racist tendencies because he's admitted as such, but I never looked at him as Donald Sterling racist, I never looked at him as a guy who just hated black people. Now, from this statement, it sounds like he has an issue with some black people, okay? And in particular, a kid with a hoodie. Now, let me say this. Why? At what point, when did it happen that a black kid in a hoodie was public enemy number 1? Like what has happened in history over the last couple of years where if there's a black kid with a hoodie, he's going to rob you or he's going to try to steal from you? I'm 44 years old. When it's wintertime, I pretty much wear a hoodie every single day because it's comfortable and because it's convenient. So I don't know at what point, what happened in history to label black people with hoods as bad people. I don't understand that connection at all. Here's the problem with what I had with Mark Cuban's statement. One, this black person, he mentioned it being a kid, okay? And to try to clean it up, I believe he tried to make the example of the white guy with the shaved head. One, you're talking about a black kid, a child, and on the other hand, you're talking about a grown-ass man, and based on the description he's given, it sounds like a skinhead. That's what he's talking about to me. So what you're saying is a kid in Trayvon Martin's case, a kid in Trayvon Martin's case with some Skittles and some iced tea has on a hood, and he's a threat compared to a neo-Nazi. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't equate. So that's the problem I have with that. And I really do believe that he thought about what he was saying and says, listen, I got to throw out some type of other comparison to try to take away some of the harshness of the statement I just made about the black kid with a hoodie. I'm just going to say out there in America, if a black person has on a hoodie, he doesn't necessarily want to rob you. He doesn't necessarily want to steal you. We have to get rid of this mindset. And Mark Cuban has basically equated a black kid with a piece of clothing on to a neo-Nazi, to a skinhead, okay? Some of the self-proclaimed most bigoted people in the world. So that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Once again, I don't think Mark Cuban's in the class with Donald Sterling, but this statement is wrong, okay? This statement is wrong, period, point blank. Once again, I don't know the depth of his bigotry, which he claimed to be somewhat of a bigot, but I know that statement is wrong. And we have to get out of that mindset as a country, as a people, that just because a black kid has on a hoodie, which there's no correlation, he's not a threat to you, okay? Really, he's not. He may be, but don't assume that he is. Seriously, that's so ridiculous to me. It almost sounds like that Mark Cuban has been prepping us for the fact that there's going to be something that comes out that points to him being a racist. It's almost like that him and Donald Sterling, go out and get beers and they tell offensive black jokes all night long. Like, Donald Sterling, he has an inkling that Donald Sterling is going to bring some other owners down with him, so he's kind of bracing us, and kind of softening the blow on what's going to happen and what's going to come out about him because of his defense of Donald Sterling from the very beginning. Okay, he basically defended and tried to say, like, listen, we all make mistakes, and this is something that happened in his personal company. And, if we were all judged by what we say behind closed doors, this, that, and the other, and then he followed it with this interview. It was almost like he knows that he said something that's going to get out there, and so right now he's softening the blow. He's just basically just getting us ready for what's going to come out about him. That's the only problem I have with this. Okay? It is what it is, but stop. Please stop Mark Cuban. Please stop George Zimmerman. Please stop anybody in America from equating a kid, and he said kid. Okay, a lot of people have tried to turn it around and said that he talked about a black man or a black guy with a hood. No, he said kid. It's a quote, okay? A black kid with a hoodie is not a threat. Story number 4 in the Funky 4 big sports stories of the week of May 25th, 2014 is the Cleveland freaking stinking Cavaliers win the NBA lottery again for the 3rd time in 4 years. You know about them winning the lottery where they picked Kyrie Irving, the point guard. They also won it last year and they took Anthony Bennett, who's been a bust. And now, since the decision, since LeBron James left Dan Gilbert high and dry and left for the Miami Heat and won a couple of championships, magically, the Cleveland Cavaliers have won the NBA draft for the 3rd time in 4 years. Now, I don't think a lot of people realize that the Cleveland Cavaliers only had a 1.7% chance of winning the lottery. That's right. A 1.7% chance of winning the lottery, and they did it. Now, let me make a comparison to you. All right? I had the snip. Okay, I had the vasectomy a couple of years ago, or a vasectomy a couple of years ago. And the doctor says, listen, man, you got a 98.5% chance of not getting, your wife pregnant again. And he didn't say 100% because I guess they just want to cover their ass, so they don't say 100%, but it's understood to be that you're not getting your wife pregnant again. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So basically, I'm trying to make this comparison. The Cleveland Cavaliers, based on the percentages, was not supposed to win this NBA draft lottery, but they did. Okay? Magically, they did. Everybody in the NBA and all the people with basketball it seems like they're doing the Cleveland Cavaliers a favor because they felt so bad for them and what happened with LeBron James. This is unbelievable to me. And the thing that makes it even worse, is they don't show the actual lottery. They don't show when they pick the balls, out of the little lottery machine and set up these picks. And that's suspect. That's suspect as hell. I don't know about you. They had a 1.7% chance of getting somebody pregnant, and they got them pregnant. Okay? And David Stern has walked off into the sunset and done his boy Dan Gilbert a favor. Now, that's what it seems like. Now, clearly, that may not be the case. The Cleveland Cavaliers just may be the lucky sons of bitches in the history of the world, but they weren't supposed to win. I think that's what's not being talked about enough, is they weren't supposed to win. 1.5 or 1.7% chance of winning the lottery, and you did it. You're not supposed to win, and you can't tell us that you're supposed to win. You're not. You got one ball and a half a ball in this whole machine with all balls being blown around by the air. And you win? No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Why don't you show the lottery? Why don't you just show it? Just show us the lottery. If you ain't hiding nothing, just show us. But you're not going to show us because something's wrong. Wrong. I don't believe it. Hey, well, hats off to you, David Stern. Hats off to you, NBA. LeBron stuck a knife in your back, and you gave the Cleveland Cavaliers a cannon. Okay? You're helping them out. You're helping your boys out. That's what it seems like. All right, that is the Doug Stewart Show. You can email me, Doug@thedugstewartshow.com. You can also text me at 770-847-0536. Share the show. Like the show, retweet, and the big thing is to subscribe to the show right down there. All right? Continue to pass the word. It's the Doug Stewart Show.